I wanted to hang out with you guys and talk a little bit about some of the stuff that I was finding. I was actually doing some research for some different things I'm working on right now. I have really had probably more fun this year, the last year or two, than I've had in my whole entire career. A lot of it's because I've been able to really get back to my roots of doing a lot more financial stuff. In case you guys have noticed, that's been a very deliberate strategy to dig back into the economic empowerment aspect of what I was doing. I'll admit, for a long time I was actually bored with finance because, I was teaching a bunch of rich white kids, and that just did nothing for me. It bored me. It didn't excite me at all. It's not that I didn't like them. I love my students. I love, white, black, and I don't care what race you were. I love my students, but I didn't feel like I was making a contribution to the black community. In a way, it reminded me of Neo in The Matrix, and how basically they came to Neo and they said, "You're looking for something. You're looking for something." And that's the way I felt. I was like, man, I'm looking for something. Like, people are telling me I'm successful, but I don't feel successful. I ain't doing nothing for black folks. I'm doing everything for white people. I feel like a mammy. I felt like somebody's babysitter. I didn't feel like I was actually a successful black man. And so, it was that introspection that actually helped me to kind of open the door to who I am today and what I do today. If I hadn't gone through that experience, I never would have been able to really find myself. And I can tell you, if you can find yourself and find out what you're really supposed to do, it's like divorcing an abusive spouse and marrying the girl of your dreams. It's the best feeling in the world. I highly recommend it for anybody. I highly, highly, highly encourage you to really find yourself. Because you don't know. You think you know what happens in the afterlife, but do you really know? Do you really know for sure? Maybe you don't, and you don't know if maybe this is all there is. And I would hate for you to to die and to feel like, this was all I had, and I took all that time spending literally two-thirds of my life doing work that I wouldn't be doing if they weren't paying my bills. If you think about it, you spend 10 hours a day either at work, coming home from work, going to work, getting ready for work. 10 hours a day, if you're awake for 16 hours, assuming that you sleep for 8 hours a day, that's over two-thirds of your life. Two-thirds. That's over 100,000 hours that you'll spend doing some shit that you wouldn't be doing if somebody wasn't paying you enough money to just get by. They ain't paying you enough to get rich. They're paying you enough to get by. It'd be bad enough if you were making $1 million a year, but if you are just just getting by, come on now. What do you? Is that really worth it? I don't know. I don't think it is. But let's see. Somebody was asking. Ryan was asking, is a credit union better than a bank? You know what? Those are questions. Okay, it looks like you're getting some answers. I like credit unions because they have a more community-based focus. If you want to be able to ask me questions directly and talk to me, I have people that actually consult with me every week. They want to talk to me and stuff like that. But I'll tell you the truth, because my time is limited, it's expensive to get direct consultation for your business idea or for money. Not because I'm trying to be snotty about it, but because we got to raise money because we're trying to build a campus. We're trying to build a compound where we're going to educate people, make movies, do a lot of things for the black community. But then also what we did was we created a sort of group coaching situation where you can ask your question and I'll give you a direct answer within 10 days on video, just like this, for you. It's at askdrboyce.com, ASK, just like the word ask, like ask a question, askdrboyce.com, and you can sign up. The first month is actually free, so you get a whole month where you can ask me questions and you don't have to pay anything. But then, after the first month is over, if you like what you see and you want to keep talking, then there is a fee to that, but it's very, very cheap compared to what it would normally cost, and I like it because it works for everybody. We can make our money, pay our team, and you can actually get access, and and I'm better than any professor you had in college because my PhD is probably at a better school. And then number two, I'm not going to charge you $40,000 a year. And also I'm black. Just being black means I understand you. Your white professors don't usually get you in terms of understanding what you're going through, in terms of figuring out how to build in the black community. Those are a very different set of dynamics than building in the white community, because the white people kind of have they have the resources, they have a lot of the wealth. But I was thinking about before I dig into what I was actually on my mind, do me a favor, hit the share button real quick. Share this to your page. or if there's a way to also subscribe so that you'll get notifications when I go live, hit that subscribe button, share button, whatever it is. Connect. Just be connected. In fact, I can actually give you a phone number you can dial. You can actually text. So hit the share button first, and then I'll find the number you can actually dial where you can actually get text messages from me if you want. Again, I don't know if you want to see me that much, but we got all kinds of stuff in place. If you text the word Boyce to 31996, 31996, text the word Boyce to 31996, then literally I might send out stuff via text message, and you'll get me in your phone if you want. If you want, again, if you don't want to see me that much, and that's all good, but if you want to really be down, really be connected, really be in the space, you can do it that way. Also, we actually have an app. I don't know if you guys know, but there is a Dr. Boyce Watkins app. If you go to your Apple store or you go to an Android store, you can type in Dr. Boyce Watkins, and basically you'll find the app, and the app is there. Just be forewarned again that my face will be on your phone. So if you think my face is something you can stand looking at on a regular basis, then cool. If you don't, then don't get it. But anyway, so here's what was on my mind, and this is what led to the conversation that I laid out for the live stream. Look, I was doing research, and I'm preparing this class that I think is a good contribution. It's for the Black Business School, and basically the class is called How to Turn Your Child into a Millionaire. And basically the class is built on a formula that I put together on how you can almost virtually guarantee that your child will be a millionaire. This is not snake oil. This is not me just talking smack, me doing guesswork. This is really something that I know is true. And I like these ideas. I like talking about these sorts of things because you have people that really think that black people are destined to be poor, and I just don't agree with that. And so I was doing research for this course, right? So I was researching different things that really reflected just the state of the American economy, where it is, where it's been, where it's going, the dynamics, and I watched some really good documentaries on. I happened to have recently seen these documentaries on Fed policy and how the Federal Reserve is playing a part in creating. Let's see, James is saying the text didn't work for him. Try it again, 31996, and just put the word Boyce in there, just Boyce. Don't put Dr. Boyce or Boyce Watkins, just put the word Boyce and text it to 31996. And if that doesn't work, my email address is boyce@boycewatkins.com. That's boyce@boycewatkins.com. Yeah, I know y'all compliment me on the Malcolm X shirt. I got to find out where I got it from because I can't quite remember. So that's, if you happen to be the person who made it, just email me and straighten me out, because I shouldn't be wearing a shirt that was given to me and not mention who the person was that made it, but I just don't know. But anyway, so going back here to what I was saying, I was looking at the dynamics of the economy, and I was thinking deeply about just what's really happening and what the forecasts are. And basically, what I want to warn you about, and I want to let you know this, some smart people are listening, where everybody else just going to drown. A lot of people don't really realize that the party's dangerous until the party's over and people done got arrested, somebody done drowned in the swimming pool, somebody got raped, or the cops are at the front door. That's when people realize that maybe they were drinking too much, maybe the party was going too far. Some people are only reactionary, some people are proactionary. So I'm really talking to people that are proactive. Those who are reactive, pretty much what they do is they will let their lives get ruined by a force that they saw coming, or they will ruin it themselves, and then they will spend their lives complaining about how they're victimized by the world, right? Well, really, you're victimized by your own decisions. In a way, you are literally in life making your own bed and sleeping in it too. Okay, Ryan keeps saying the text isn't working. Okay, so if do me a favor, guys, dial in the number 31996 and just text the word Boyce to 31996 and let me know. Somebody let me know it went through for you. And because if it doesn't go through for anybody, then that'll tell me that it's not working. So so give it a try. I'm gonna look down the feed. Okay, somebody else is saying they tried it and it didn't work. Okay, then that's not good. I'm gonna log into this thing. There's this thing that we use, this software, and they can tell me if something's wrong or whatever. Who knows? Maybe somebody didn't pay the bill. But anyway, I'll try to pull this up. But anyway, in terms of being proactive versus reactive, one of the things I've observed is that, I see people that do that. I see people that will literally ruin their own life and then will come to you with sob stories and tell you how horrible their life is, when they really don't understand that you're the key player in your decisions. I mean, you're the one who decides what your life is going to be. Now, let me see what I'm seeing here in terms of signups. it looks like people are signing up. And did it work for? Okay, Eugene said it worked. Selena said it worked. Camden's saying the good doctor. Okay, Mark said it worked. So, hey Ryan, it could be your carrier, man. I'm so sorry, brother. It don't matter. You can. There's a lot of ways we can connect. You download the app, or you can just subscribe, and you don't have to do nothing. I mean, I'm just making suggestions here because I like you guys, so I hope you like me just as much. But anyway, so going back to what I was saying, here's the real deal on what I'm sort of uncovering in my research. You have a lot of factors that really say that the U.S. and our economic dominance is going to come to an end, and that it's going to be ugly. You see these factors that really point to, basically a rigged system. What's really happening is the ship is sinking because the people at the top of the ship, meaning rich people, are sucking up all of the oxygen out of the ship. They're sucking up all of the wealth out of the economy. And so what's happening is you're seeing the wealthy people doing better because they're destroying the whole ship. But the people in the bottom are the first ones to sink, first ones that are going to drown. And so effectively, by people at the bottom, I'm talking about middle class people, working class people, certainly poor people. And I see, it's kind of funny, I'm looking here at the comments, I see Christopher says, Dr. Watkins, white dude here. I love how the white folks got to like announce themselves. It's all good, Christopher, man. We love you, brother. We're glad that you're here. I respect all that you do for your community. You're certainly a great leader. See, now, Christopher, that if every white person was like Chris, we wouldn't have no problems. I wouldn't even have to wear this shirt. I wouldn't even have to do my podcast. My live streams would be boring if every white person would just listen to Christopher. See, but I bet you there's something unique about Christopher. He probably grew up around black people. He probably knows he probably knows everything about black people, everything from, the way we communicate to all the dances to all the music, everything. But music and dancing does not define black people. That's why I'm hesitant to even go there, because we do more than just dance and play sports. But yeah, everybody loves Chris. I love Chris too. I'm glad he's here. And see, that's the funny thing. I like that because it gives, I like when every now and then somebody who's not black will pop in and they get what we're talking about, and they understand that we're not on no hatred type stuff. We're not here to hate people. We're just here to defend ourselves. We're here to speak up for the people that we love, and to to just claim a piece of our own destiny. And so I think that the interpretation of black love as white hatred is very frustrating to kind of deal with, but it's something that people are going to always do, because somehow black empowerment becomes a threat to other people, and I'm not going to cater to that. So anyway, moving on. So here are a couple of dynamics that just come to mind. I'm going to sort of do a stream of consciousness and just tell you the things I'm thinking about when I think about this pending economic crisis. Okay. So let's start with student loans. Now, those big loans that you're told to take so you can go to that university that is now charging you $40,000, $50,000 a year. I don't know if you guys know this, but actually this generation of millennials under the age of 35 is actually the first generation in American history that is expected to actually die in debt. The average millennial is never going to get out of debt. Now, when I went to school, we would start off in debt, but you would work your way out. The system has been set up now because of the way the Fed has pushed money toward the educational system. The universities are getting paid off this. They're getting super rich. I guarantee you that every university in your city, every major university in your city is probably on some sort of building and hiring spree. They're probably hiring tons of people, paying faculty a lot of money, building multi-million-dollar football stadiums. And also just buying up entire blocks, buying up houses and everything, because they got extra money to burn. And what's happening is the payday, or where that money's coming from, is basically from the fact that they're overcharging you for a commodity that shouldn't cost you $40,000, $50,000 a year to get an education. There's nothing about what a teacher teaches you that should cost you $60,000 a year. In fact, I think USC is now going to be $70,000 a year for room, board, tuition, books, everything. And pretty soon there's going to be a university that's charging $100,000 a year. And basically, so what's been happening is the student loan debt has gone up, and consumer. It's funny that wages, though, the wages of average American workers haven't gone up at all. Also, debt levels in households have gone up, but wages haven't gone up. And so what's happening is that that you're being charged more for everything, and you're not being given more money to buy these things. So when that happens, the only way that you can pay for these things is with debt. And this is something we go into, in this class. This is why I'm thinking about this, because I was doing research for this course, and I'll let you guys know when it's ready. The other thing that's interesting is that if you look at the economy is kind of built to take care of people who are pretty much in two categories, either entrepreneurs or landowners. If you own things, if you own businesses, if you own property, things like that, what happens is the tax laws start to favor you, labor laws favor you, the way the money supply flows tends to favor you, and those are the people who do well. So what you probably want to do with your kids is make sure they're positioned to be in that category. You don't actually have to be a rich person to begin to take a stake in America. In fact, with this course that I'm putting together, I pretty much show you how anybody with any income level pretty much can position their child to be a millionaire by the time they're between 30 and 40 years old. And I'm not making this up. This is very easy to do based on, the data and history of the stock market and what happens when you invest a certain amount and just things like that. So ultimately, we have this rigged economy, right? I don't think it's going to change. It doesn't matter if Hillary gets elected. It doesn't matter if Trump gets elected. They all work for the same corporations. What's going to happen is it's only going to get worse. And so what I would just generally say is you got to be real thoughtful about this. The old models just don't work anymore. Now, Eugene is asking, can you short the college market? I think he's talking about like a short sell. That's probably a question that's kind of above the scope of this discussion, Eugene. But again, if you join the Ask Dr. Boyce class, you can ask me any question that you want. People ask me questions about all kinds of stuff. They ask me if I'm married, then they'll ask me, what do you predict for the economy? Then they'll ask me, what do I do about my business? I can't find any customers, and then they'll ask me, where do you think I should invest money to get ready for my child's education? Or what kind of insurance policy do you recommend? Like, they ask a bunch of stuff, and it's a fun class to do, because I love answering questions. It's just I can't answer all of them all the time, so I kind of let people who really want their questions answered to kind of come into the class. Everybody else, if you don't want to, you don't have to. It's totally up to you. But just in case you do actually want to take our Black Wealth Bootcamp, which is something that I teach, it starts August 6th. You can go to theblackwealthbootcamp.com. That's theblackwealthbootcamp.com, and I think they actually have a code for a discount if you want a discount. Let me see if Maria still has that code in place. But yeah, so Maria set it up. I think you can actually right now get 25% off for the next couple of days. The code is no slave, just one word, no slave, NOSLAVE. If you use no slave, you can get 25% off, and a lot of people are using that discount. So feel free to write that down. Go to theblackwealthbootcamp.com, type no slave when you go and you sign up for the class, and you'll get a huge discount on the course. Everybody loves it. We give a money back guarantee, which is something a university would never give you. But I taught on college campuses for 23 years. I taught at the University of Kentucky, Indiana University, Syracuse University, and the University of Rochester. And so I know everything that your college professor can teach. The only difference is I know how to actually run a business. That's one thing that's actually the most valuable thing that a black person can learn. Tristan's asking how long is the course. The Black Wealth Bootcamp is 5 weeks. We actually have a boot camp style situation for children as well that starts in August, and that's at blackfinancialleadership.com. blackfinancialleadership.com. So that's our Black Financial Leadership program that teaches your child just the basic things they would need to know, like the difference between being a producer and a consumer, what it means to be an owner, why they should start their own business, the foundations of the stock market and how it works, why you should invest in the stock market, but why you should also invest in general. And really, generally speaking, what you kind of want to do is you want children to just grow up thinking like investors. You want them thinking like owners. You want them thinking like bosses. And here's something that really pisses me off. It drives me crazy when I hear this, especially from black people. I hate when I hear black people say something like, well, Dr. Boyce, every black person they cut out to run a business. Every black person can't be no entrepreneur, Dr. Boyce. Some people just meant to work for other people. Okay, that's fine. I hear what you're saying, but here's my issue with that. Okay, number one, my issue with Negro naysayers is this idea that somehow you always start conversations about the black community from a negative disposition. You always start off with kind of like this idea that, you know, we're going to focus on what we can't do as opposed to what we can do. There are so many things that white people do all the time that black people truly believe that we're not able to do. I mean, you know, so sometimes the biggest white supremacists in America are actually black people. And I hate that. That drives me insane. Second of all, you don't have to run a business in order to own a piece of a business. So what I generally tell people is it ain't just always about being your own boss. I'm not saying tell your child that they should never work for another person. No, just make sure they know that they don't have to. That's the thing. I mean, why would you go through life hoping to find a good job? I mean, you're limiting yourself right there. Why don't you say, I'm going to go through life hoping to find a situation where I have options, hoping to find a situation where I'm free, where I control my own destiny. Sometimes you could be working for somebody. I work for people all the time on a temporary basis. Like, if you hire me to do a contract, you hire me to go teach your kids or give a speech, for that day or for that weekend, I work for you. I work for you. I'm your employee. I do what the hell you tell me to do. You tell me to go stand over there, I'll go stand over there. But don't think for a second that I don't know that if I don't like the conditions under which I'm working, that I can't walk out and walk away and be okay. That's what you're seeking out. You're seeking options, not necessarily always having to just like work for yourself. The third thing is this. This is important to understand. Look, maybe not everybody's cut out to run a business, but it's just like if you live in a society, and in that society, not everybody's cut out to be a soldier, right? Only a few good men and women are cut out to go to the Marines or go to the Army, Navy, Air Force, or whatever, right? A lot of us are not cut out to be in the military. But what if your country gets attacked? Then they're not going to just let people go to the military who are cut out to be soldiers, or people who really always wanted to be in the military. They're going to start drafting everybody. A lot of any able-bodied man or woman within a certain age, everybody going to have to put on a uniform, pick up a gun, and go fight and defend their country, right? Well, the thing is, so what my point is that sometimes the situation calls for you to be ready, even if you don't think you're ready. The situation calls for you to have certain skills, even if you don't think you have those skills naturally. If I had been 22 and they had a draft, I'd be like, I'm not cut out to be a soldier. I don't want to be a soldier. But guess what? If they drafted me, I would have had to be a soldier. So what I would just say is that for the black community, we have been under economic attack for hundreds and hundreds of years. You know, you got family members that are struggling. You got people in your family that are, you know, that need you to have their back. You got people in your community that need you to find a way to get it done. If you're a daddy in a household, your kids are looking at you like, okay, daddy, what we doing, right? Your wife's looking at you like, okay, what kind of man are you? Why, you need to go out here and make something happen. And if you got more tools in your toolkit, then you're better able to respond to that, as opposed to doing what so many of us do, which is to get mad and get frustrated because you ain't got no options, when really you weren't proactive in the beginning in terms of creating options for yourself. Right? That's proactivity versus reactivity. A lot of us have the reactive gene, where we react to tragedy, but we don't prevent tragedy. That's the difference. By the way, if you haven't shared this to your page, I hope you'll share this on your social media. If you're on Facebook, hit it, share it to your Facebook page. If you're on YouTube, you know, there's a share button. Also, subscribe buttons are everywhere. You can subscribe to the feeds. If you want to if you want to come see me in Houston, I'm actually in Houston this week. We're having the Financial Juneteenth Festival here. You can go to drboycehouston.com to buy tickets. That's drboycehouston.com. I'm actually here for 3 days giving several lectures, screening Hidden Colors 4 as well as Resurrecting Black Wall Street, the Blueprint. We're also doing a whole lot of talking and learning and studying, and you get access to a free class in the Black Business School, so that you will be able to learn for good. It's not just a weekend thing, it's actually a long-term thing. Chris is asking, when am I coming to St. Louis? I gotta come there soon, because my homeboy, Dr. Roosevelt Mitchell III, is in St. Louis, and he's actually shooting a film. I'm co-executive producing a film with him on the state of the educational system. I got a lot of movies that we're putting out. This year we're putting out, I think, 6 movies total. Next year we're going to put out 15. Because we're actually trying to develop our film studio. And I mentioned this to you guys earlier, and I want you guys to to just kind of be aware, because at some point I am going to have like calls to action in terms of hoping that we can get some support from the community. What we want to do is actually buy, I don't know, maybe at least 100 acres of land in Atlanta, and on this land we want to put an educational facility, an economic incubator, and a film studio. So we want to make really good movies. We want to incubate businesses where we fund them, bring in experts, make sure they get what they need. We also want to educate kids mainly on two areas that are missing from the public school system, which is Black history as well as entrepreneurship. So ultimately that's what we want to do. Mwangi is asking about Brooklyn. Now Brooklyn, I was just there about maybe a month ago, a month and a half. Love Brooklyn. It was awesome. People came out. I'm coming back to Brooklyn. I'll probably do something like we're doing something pretty soon called the 48-hour business school, where you'll spend 2 days with me, and when you walk out, you'll have a business. And so we'll probably run the 48-hour business school in Brooklyn, because the love is so strong there. We love that city. Detroit, we got to come to Detroit, Kiati. I'm sorry, Kiati. We got to go to Detroit. Love Detroit. Florida, Daryl, I don't know about Florida. Florida's somewhere on the itinerary, but I have to go double check. Right now, to be honest with you, what we're trying to do is we had to slow down and take a breather, because we were putting so much money into like our movies and putting so much money into the tour, because we finance everything ourselves, that it got to the point where we were like shit. We had to make some adjustments because we're about to run out of bread. So what we did is we slowed some things down, just kind of took a breather, but the goal was always to get right back on the tour. Sometimes with a business, you have to stop a little bit, like almost like driving a car. Your car overheats, and you have to literally just pull over for a minute and let it cool down, and then you start driving again. So basically, we're going to keep driving. We're not going to stop, and we fund everything on our own. By the way, I heard, I don't know if any of you guys saw it. I heard that today I was on Music Moguls. Dame Dash texted me and said, you're going to be on Music Moguls tomorrow, man. And he keeps on telling me I have to watch the show. And I keep telling him, I'm like, man, I'm looking for the show. I just don't know where to watch it. And I'd love for you guys to tell me where I can watch this show. You know, because I don't really know where BET actually broadcasts, like on the internet. Like, are they on Hulu or Netflix or something like that? Because, you know, I really don't know where to find the BET stuff. So if you guys know where I can watch BET online, let me know. Because I mean, I'm not exactly that brother who's checking for BET. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I ain't trying to hate on BET or nothing like that. But I'll just tell you the truth. Like, I'm not really, you know, I don't watch TV, period. Now, wait, who says Kiati is saying YouTube had it? So it was on YouTube? You know what's crazy? Dame said that to me too. And I said, it's not on YouTube. Like, why would they put it on YouTube? But apparently, he's right. If you got a link, if you could share the link, man, I would be so grateful and appreciative, because I literally want to watch Music Moguls. Give me a second here. All right, cool. All right, let me set that up. Okay. So anyway, let's get back to the conversation a little bit. So basically what we started off the discussion about was, you know, the fact that the U.S. economy has a structure that's rigged in favor of certain people. Now, the way you can look at it is like this. You can look at it a couple of ways, which either approach I think is fine. You can look at it like this, like my friend Yvette Carnell looks at it. You know, Yvette says we need to change the laws. We need to change, you know, the way business is done in America. We need to, I don't know if it means we got to elect the right politicians or disrupt the system or whatever, but there are people who believe that the system is the answer. I'm not one of those people. I don't believe that the system is ever going to change in favor of the people. I believe that, as Christopher Loud is saying, that it is an oligarchy. If you look at the Supreme Court, for example, what you will see in the U.S. Supreme Court is that at some point in their career, if I'm not mistaken, every single member of the Supreme Court attended either Harvard or Yale. Now that's not normal. That's not what a democracy does. You don't sort of exclude 99-point-something% of the population by not even allowing them access to the Supreme Court. Also, a disproportionate percentage of Supreme Court justices have been Jewish. Not to say that we shouldn't have Jews on the Supreme Court, but isn't it funny that I think almost a third of all Supreme Court justices have been Jewish, but we haven't had one single African-American woman ever put on the Supreme Court. Even your beloved black president didn't pick an African American woman, even though Dorothy Height specifically asked Obama before she died if he could put a black woman on the Supreme Court. So, basically this system is set up in a certain way. Now, the issue is not so much. So you got that first option, right? Can you vote it, away? Can you, if you have mass political movements, can you break through all the people that are there to try to block any meaningful action in order to, do what we need to do with the economy? I don't know if that's possible. I mean, in fact, you just look at right now at the Democratic National Convention, you saw that there's a stain over the DNC right now because they basically rigged the whole primary against Bernie Sanders. They did what they could to keep Bernie Sanders from taking Hillary Clinton's spot. That was proven. The emails were released. And so effectively what I see is a scenario where there are powers that be who just really don't want change in a meaningful way. Also, I see these powers positioning themselves to manipulate the minds of the public. I think they spend, instead of sort of saying, what do the people want from us? They spend time saying, how do we get the people to want, what we need them to want? And so long story short, I don't believe that voting is going to really make our system what it should be. I'm not saying you shouldn't vote. I'm not going to tell you not to vote. I'm telling you to do what you feel, wherever your conscience takes you. Now, the other option is you could say, okay, the system is what it is. How do we position ourselves to make sure that in this rigged system, that in our community we have enough captains of industry who are conscientious about their people, who can make sure that the community is protected. Everybody in the black community in the next generation probably won't be out here running a multi-million-dollar business. That's probably not going to happen. But you can have a few good men and women at the top. You can have, say, 100,000 black people who are running businesses and who are, multimillionaires who have been raised with a value system that is consistent with building the black community. So what that means is that you have the guys out here, the representatives, like even in our space right now, you might have, say, myself, Tariq Nasheed, and a couple other people, where we just all come together and say, okay, let's do this for the community. Let's build this thing for the community. Let's make a movie and we're going to hire black people. Let's start a school and we're going to hire black teachers and educate black children. Things like that, right? So what if you took, me and Tariq Nasheed and some other people and multiplied that by 1,000? If you had 1,000 of us out there that also that don't just have money, but also money and power, but also have conscientiousness. That's the thing. You have a lot of wealthy black people, but unfortunately, they got wealthy by cooning. They got wealthy by kissing a white man's ass. So when it comes time for them to make critical decisions about where they're going to allocate resources, they allocate those resources away from you. They might save their charity for you. They might go, they might go to they might hold some sort of fundraiser for you because they feel like you're so pathetic that you can't take care of yourself. But when it comes to like who they're really doing business with, I would love to see, what's going on behind the scenes. If you have a big movie made straight out of Compton or something, and it's all about this amazing story that came out of the black community, how many of those writers, directors, producers, and filmmakers are black? Versus, are you sort of doing a black storefront so black people will support the project, but you have white people behind the scenes that are controlling all the levers? If you look at a major network, if you look at the Oprah Winfrey Network, let's say, we know Oprah's black, we know Gayle is black, we know she got a few black people around, we know Tyler Perry's black, but I'd just love to see like a show or Greenleaf, the show she just released. We know everybody on Greenleaf is black, okay, but I need to see behind the camera. Are those people all black? Or how many of those people are African American that are actually bringing this story to life? Because you see a whole lot of these projects where basically they've got black people on the surface to draw in black viewers, or to make white viewers feel like they're getting access to this really authentic black story, when really you look behind the scenes and you'll literally see like a Jewish person writing an African American story. That's crazy to me. That's not normal. That's not normal. Jewish people would never trust you. They would never, as a community, they would never, ever in a million years trust you to write their story. Jewish people won't do that. And you know what? They're right about that. They got some damn sense. That makes sense, right? That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to protect the integrity of your story. But because black people have always felt like we've never had true ownership of our destiny, we very readily allow other people to come in and occupy everything that's valuable for us. Everything is valuable. Now, in case you just came in, we're talking about the rigged economic system. You might have seen that title on the live stream, but we're kind of jumping to different topics. Every now and then I'll pop in there and I'll answer some questions too. If you haven't done this yet, I would love it if you would hit the share button real quick. Share this to your social media. If you're on YouTube, hit the share button for the YouTube video, or subscribe. Subscribing is great as well. Also, if you want a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, you can get a free e-copy by visiting drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. So you can go there and get a free e-copy of the book. And also, if you're in Houston, I'm speaking in Houston for the next 3 days. So you can go to drboycehouston.com. That's drboycehouston.com, and you can check us out. We're going to show Hidden Colors, Resurrecting Black Wall Street. I'm going to give several lectures. One is how to start your own online business. Another one is how to turn your child into a millionaire. The third one is how to put an end to black economic coonery. Now that's going to be a fun one. I thought I had fun with that title. Well, basically it's sort of like, okay, everybody's talking about being black now. Everybody want to be black, and it's great. But the truth of the matter is that we Andre's saying your phone is loud. I agree. I got to turn this damn thing down. Let me hit this do not disturb button, making all these noises with the notifications and whatnot. Okay, it's off now. Sorry about that, man. Thank you for being patient with me, Andre. I appreciate you, brother. But basically, now that we're talking about wanting to be black, like, what does that mean? What does that look like? And I think that we need templates and guidelines and blueprints and kind of understandings of just what black cooperative economics looks like. In fact, I was actually putting together a list called the 15 rules of black economic etiquette. Little things like, for example, little things I've always done through the years that allow me to support black people more than everybody else. So, for example, if I give a tip, if the waiter or waitress is black, I push myself to do a little bit more. I might do normally 15%. If they're black, I'll do 20 or 25%. The way you criticize a black business, sometimes we get mad because of our pain. We want to destroy the business. We want to talk crazy shit about them. We want to attack them, and y'all ain't nothing. And that's why I don't go to black businesses, because y'all niggas don't know how to do nothing right. There's better ways to do that, right? There's ways to give constructive criticism. You can never give up on your own community just because one business did you wrong. There's other things. What else? The way you think about how you spend your money. See, the reason that spending and buying black is so important is because basically a dollar doesn't disappear just because you spent it. Like if I pull out a dollar right now and I take that dollar and I spend it, then I might think it disappeared because I'm giving it away. But it doesn't disappear. It's just like flushing the toilet. Just because you flush the toilet, that don't mean that the stuff has disappeared. It's going somewhere else, right? So that dollar is going into someone's hand. They're going to use it somewhere else. Now, if I give it to somebody who's outside of my community, then it might as well have disappeared. No black person is probably ever going to benefit from that dollar I just spent because I just gave it away. But if I circulate it, if I give it to other black people who are playing the same game as me, then that black person it's going to be a hot potato. He's going to pass it to another black person who's going to pass it to another black person. So each of those people that have that dollar gets the experience and the thrill of spending a dollar. So I spent the dollar, you spent a dollar, she spent a dollar, he spent a dollar, they spent a dollar. So what's happened? That dollar has become $1, $2, $3, $4, $5. Do you understand? So literally you could take the same amount of money that we have in the community right now, not increase our income one bit, and literally multiply that by 5, 6, 7, or 8 times just by keeping our money together, just by giving our money to each other. That's very, very important to understand. So you got to really make sure you kind of get that. Now, Andre says he came up in the Seventh-day Adventist church. I have a mixed relationship with that church because I was engaged to a woman who was a Seventh-day Adventist, and I don't think her church friends approved of our being married, and I didn't understand that because I love that woman. I treated her as well as I could, and she would say that to this day, I think, and I would never say a harsh word about it, but I remember, I think they had an issue with her marrying an outsider, and I just kind of felt that made me feel some kind of way, because I was like, well, wait a minute, the love that I have for you had to have been created by God. Only God could create love like this. So I don't understand. So to me, this kind of animosity sounds evil to me. It doesn't sound like God to me. That ain't God talking. That's somebody's book, right? Now, again, I ain't trying to go into a religious conversation. I'm not dissing nobody or nothing like that. But I remember that stuck with me. So let's see here. Let's answer a few more questions. Let's see here. Talitha says, can you get all the rich black celebrities to come down to LA and buy land in Black Wall Street? You know what, Talitha, I wish I could. I tell celebrities what I think, and celebrities come on the live streams and they watch the YouTube videos, but I can't make them do nothing. I mean, but at the same time, I can't deny that maybe some of the things that I've been saying, maybe some of the things other people like Umar have been saying, has not had an impact on celebrities. I do think that there may be something there where they're seeing what the grassroots are doing. I do believe that they're following our lead. I believe that because every year we're galvanizing power. Every year you're seeing independent black folks who are building institutions that are not sort of controlled by the white power structure, that are gaining ability to reach more and more people. Every year Tariq Nasheed reaches more people. Every year I reach more and more people. And what happens is, because I just follow the truth, it's hard to argue against the truth, especially when you got smart people who are reciting the truth. So I'm not a dumb person. I don't feel the need to manipulate you into believing what I say, because I think that the facts can stand for themselves. And I know how to present the facts in a way where even when you make your own decision, you're going to come to a conclusion that makes sense, because I've given you the truth and I laid it out in a compelling way. So what happens is, those celebrities that are kind of out there, cooning or whatever, I think they see the pressure. They see people kind of waking up and saying, well, wait a minute, what the hell's going on? And they know, I'm not scared to say what's on my mind. So when I say it and it spills into the mainstream, celebrities get sensitive. Like when I wrote that letter or that article about Dr. Dre and him giving all that money to USC, Dr. Dre got that email or that article. Dr. Dre read it. A million other people read it too. And so Dre got pissed off about it. Some celebrities do that. Some celebrities will get mad, or they'll get mad at me. But here's the thing. They'll come back, and what they'll do is they'll change their behavior. Not because they want to be cool with me. They'll still talk shit about me. They still don't want to be my friend. I don't want to be their friend. But they'll do it because they'll be like, I want to prove that son of a bitch wrong. I need to prove that nigga wrong. That's their mindset, right? So same thing. Michael Jordan. I know for a fact that people at the Jordan brand are very sensitive to the fact that I've been, mentioning stuff about Jordan and these shoes and kids getting killed over these damn overpriced shoes that cost $12 to make, and they don't like it, and I don't like it. I don't like saying it. I don't like being the bad guy. But it's like, shit, somebody got to be the bad guy. It's just like your parents, I guess I'm kind of reaching OG status. Like people always think I'm older than I am. Like I'm only 45. Who was it? Zoe Williams. I was on his show, and he said, Dr. Boyce, I want to ask you a question as my elder. And he asked the question. I said, brother, wait a minute. Before I answer that question, how old are you? Because I know he got a kid in college. And he said, I'm 45. I said, look, I'm not your elder, man. I might be kind of, maybe you think I'm wise, but I'm not. That wise does not mean old. But anyway, but I guess, when you hit your 40s and 50s, to me, I think as a man, as a real man in this world, and a real woman, you've hit a status where people are looking at you like, okay, what are we supposed to do? You're supposed to lead, and you lead with your conscience. You lead with your intelligence. You don't lead by just following the trends. So basically, as much as I hate being the bad guy, it's like, okay, if I'm reaching this sort of parenting role, because I got children in their 20s, then okay, fine, I'll be the parent. I'll be the one who comes in and says, this is bullshit. We're not doing this no more, right? And what happens is people do respond to that. Lil Wayne responded to that. Lil Wayne was apologizing to Emmett Till's family when we went hard at Lil Wayne. BET, I know for a fact their executives were talking about me in their meetings, and I still don't know what my relationship is like with BET, but they know I'm right. Y'all sitting up in there working for white folks, controlling the minds of black people, with these white people collecting money off the community, and then trying to somehow, think that this is okay because they're paying you to do this. No, you have to be thoughtful about how you do this. Who's another one? Another one that was on my mind recently. Jay-Z, the thing with Harry Belafonte, when he was dissing Harry Belafonte, I was like, no, you can't do that, man. Like, This is Harry Belafonte, brother. You can't ever, don't you ever in your life disrespect Harry Belafonte. I mean, this man made sacrifices that we can't even fathom. So we must respect the Belafontes. We must respect the Farrakhan's. Even if you disagree with them, even if you don't like something, like people bring up the whole situation between Farrakhan and Malcolm X, and I read everything. I pay attention to everything. And I'm not sitting here saying that people didn't do what they weren't supposed to do when they were in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, in their 40s. But at the same time, that doesn't mean I can't love Farrakhan. And I think that's one thing that we have to stop doing, in my opinion, is stop looking at things in black and white. Like either I love you or I hate you, or either you are a friend or you're an enemy. Either you support Barack Obama or you like Cornel West. I don't think you have to make that choice. I think you can appreciate both of these guys, but still keep your own critical thinking skill, in the sense that you just say, okay, I like Cornel generally. I like his presence. But when he messes up, I'm going to tell him I don't agree with him. Same thing with Barack Obama. I was happy he got elected. Very happy. I wanted him to get elected. But if he does a good job, we clap. If he does a bad job, you boo. You say no. Because what has to be first and foremost for anybody, in my opinion, beyond hero worship, must be the community. You can never let any one person get bigger than your commitment to the community. So that means if Boyce Watkins gets out here and I start, like Dr. Boyce is on TV and he's selling, payday loans and talking about, he's going to stump for Trump or whatever, then you call me out for that. You say, no, Boyce. I mean, we love you, man, but this is crazy, Boyce. With all due respect, Dr. Watkins, that's what people say. With all due respect, that's fine. If you say with all due respect, then you disagree with me, then that's all good. That means that you respect me and I respect you and we disagree. All right, so anyway, if you haven't picked up a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, you can go to drboycewatkins.net. Somebody type that in if you can so other people can see it. That's drboycewatkins.net. Also, if you're in Houston, you want to come see me, you can go to drboycehouston.com. That's drboycehouston.com. If your child is interested in, or you or your child wants to be part of our wealth building program for children, you can visit blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. And also, if you want to join our next Black Wealth Bootcamp, you can visit theblackwealthbootcamp.com. That's theblackwealthbootcamp.com. It starts on August 6th. It's going to be on and popping. It's going to be the best class you ever took in your life. I guarantee it. All right, so let me see here. Let's answer a couple more questions. And I'm really supposed to get back to work because I got to get some stuff done. Christopher says, Dr. Boyce, if I could ask a question before I go, what can I as a white person do to help? Well, I think that educating yourself on all of this is really important, and empathizing. I mean, starting from a position of humanity, just understanding black people are human just like you, and that we, when we have an issue, it doesn't mean that black people are always right. Like, I love Tim Wise, for example. I think Tim Wise is an awesome dude, but sometimes I feel like Tim Wise kind of co-signs on every single crazy thing a black person does. And I'm kind of like, well, you know what, Tim, I don't think you have to defend that, because some black people, some Negroes are crazy. Some Negroes, mind you, we've gone through a lot that makes us this way, but some of the stuff that we do as a community needs to be improved upon. And I don't want paternalism. I don't want anybody helping us from a position of sort of feeling sorry for us. Just give that respect. I think educating, if you're in a room with other white people, educating other white people can go a long way. Because there are things that a white guy could say that I can't say that will resonate more with them. Like me, they look at me and they're like, oh, you must hate us. You must hate all white people. So they literally tune me out. I gave a speech to some white people about a month ago. Oh my God, it was such a freaking disaster. I spoke to a bunch of white guys who were bankers. And I guess they invited me because they were happy to see a black person with a PhD in finance, and I didn't go in there. I literally went in there and said, okay, I'm gonna tone it down a little bit. We're gonna give them the watered down voice because they can't handle the straight, with no chaser voice. So I tried my best to be as thorough in my explanation, as forgiving in terms of our differences or whatever. And literally, I think about 5 of those guys got up and walked out of the room in the first 10 minutes of my speech. 5 of those guys walked out, and I couldn't apologize because everything I said was true. I think I started talking about reparations, and I started pointing out examples of what's happened to black people in terms of wealth, and that basically, the reparations debate, really there is no debate. There is no debate about reparations. Let's see, Paco's asking, do you think that you'll collaborate with Dr. Umar? I don't have an issue with Umar. I'll tell you the honest to God truth. I would collaborate with him in a minute. I think Umar is brilliant. I think Umar, when I met him about 4 years ago, it was cool. You know, for some reason, this is what happens when you don't communicate. When you get he say, she say stuff. For some reason, Umar, I guess, has walked away with the conclusion that I have some issue with him. And eventually I did get to the point where I was a little bit concerned about, you know, some of his behavior. I think that some of the stuff he does is unnecessary. I think it takes away from his brilliance. Anybody who saw him on The Breakfast Club, you saw a guy who was just dropping it and killing it. I mean, I loved what he did on The Breakfast Club, but it's like, man, come on, like you're not collaborating with anybody, you don't work with nobody, you think you're better than everybody, you run around bragging about how you're superior in this way and that way, I'm the most highly sought after, whatever. And it's like, you don't need all that, man. Just let your greatness show with your work, you know, because that's the thing. As much as people can criticize Umar, you know, rightfully so. I mean, he's not perfect, like none of us are. You know, it's like you know, I feel like what he does is very good, and it's amazing. And I feel like if he just did his work and did his speeches and, you know, and built his school and all these other things, I think that he could go down in history as one of the greatest black men of all time. But what's going to really kill Umar, and I haven't said this publicly, but what the hell, I'm talking now, so I just tell you what I'm thinking. What's going to kill Umar in the long term is that I think Umar, his inability to really collaborate with lots of other black people who do what he does, and sort of being like this lone stallion and believing that he's kind of superior to everyone, I think that's going to hurt him. I don't think that it's going to win. I don't think he's going to win. I think that there are so many people who are turned off so badly by the things that they see that they can't hear the great things that he says. And so again, I'm sure I probably just even further distanced myself from Umar, made things even worse, because I doubt, you know, the brother's even going to ever want to work on anything together. But I agree with you 100%. I think if he and I got together and did something, which I would do tomorrow if he wanted to, it would be absolutely wonderful and explosive and really have an impact. But if that never happens, it's okay. You know, he's gonna do his thing. I think I think I saw some stuff that he was doing that I was really impressed with. And I'll never sit here and just say horrible things about Umar, but I'm never gonna sit here and pretend like I haven't seen things that I don't agree with. You know, but you know, it is what it is. All right, so let's see here. Okay, I see Dorothy says Umar needs to be in contact with you. Or I can show you on my phone where Umar's number is right in my phone. You know, but it doesn't mean anything if we don't talk. So anyway, so don't forget, go get your free ebook. Go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. If you're interested in the Black Wealth Bootcamp, check out theblackwealthbootcamp.com. Don't forget the THE, theblackwealthbootcamp.com. If you'll share this conversation, I would really appreciate it. And that's pretty much all I want to tell you. I'm done yapping. I need to get back to work on this project. When it's done, I'll let you know. Also, we are going to have a political event on the weekend in Atlanta on the weekend of the 16th. We're going to have a convention, kind of a convention for the rest of us. And it's the same week as the Congressional Black Caucus, if I'm not mistaken, and that's for a reason. I don't go to that shit. I don't care about what the CBC is doing. I don't think the Congressional Black Caucus is there for the black community. We're holding something in Atlanta that's for us, and we're going to do our thing. So anyway, guys, take care, and I will talk to you soon, and have a great day, and I love you. Talk to you later. Peace.